It's been a little over 2.5 years since I stood at the altar, looking at my wife, full of hope, love, and excitement for the future. We'd had our ups and downs, just like any couple, but overall, things had been going well. At least, that's what I thought. There was never any indication that something could go so terribly wrong. Or maybe there were signs, but I just didn't want to see them at the time. About a month ago, everything changed. It wasn't a dramatic shift, but rather a slow, creeping sensation that something was off. I couldn't put my finger on it at first. My wife, who had always been open and communicative, started acting differently. She began keeping her phone closer, locking it when before she never had. It was subtle at first. She'd get messages and brush them off quickly, saying they were nothing or just work-related. But there was something in the way she dismissed them that made my stomach churn with suspicion. One day, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up with a notification. I glanced at it without thinking, and there it was. An old photo of her with an ex-boyfriend. They were smiling, arms wrapped around each other, clearly happy in that moment. Why would she still have something like that on her phone? We all have a past, sure, but the fact that it was easily accessible, that she was looking at these old memories, it didn't sit right with me. I tried to shake it off. People can be nostalgic, right? Maybe she was just reminiscing, thinking back on old times without any real intent. But that gut feeling I had told me otherwise. It gnawed at me, growing stronger every day. Yet, I didn't want to come across as paranoid. We've all heard the stories of partners getting irrationally jealous and ruining a relationship based on nothing but a gut feeling. I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to trust her, but my instincts told me to be on guard. As time went on, more red flags began to surface. It wasn't just the phone or the old pictures. She stopped wearing her wedding ring. She'd take it off, and when I'd ask why, she'd come up with some excuse about how it was uncomfortable or that she forgot to put it on after washing her hands. That made my stomach sink. The wedding ring isn't just a piece of jewelry, it's a symbol, a promise we made to each other. The fact that she could so casually leave it off started to feel like a betrayal in itself. Then there was the picture I found, another one of those moments where I stumbled onto something without even trying. This time, it was a photo of a guy. I didn't recognize him, but something about the way she looked at him in the picture felt off. A quick scan through her messages revealed that she had told her sister that this guy was out of her league. Out of her league? Why was she even thinking about that? Why would she tell her sister something like that? I confronted her about it as calmly as I could, though my insides were churning with anger and confusion. She said the messages were about her sister. According to her, her sister was the one cheating, not her. The guy in the picture? That was her sister's secret fling, and my wife was just covering for her. I was livid, not only at the idea of cheating but also at the idea that her sister was betraying her own relationship. I started thinking about telling her sister's boyfriend, about exposing what was going on. But when I mentioned it to my wife, she grew oddly defensive. She didn't want me to say anything. Her reaction was strange, overly protective, as if the situation was far more personal than she was letting on. That was the moment I realized I couldn't trust her words. Her story didn't add up, and her reluctance to involve me more deeply in the situation only made me more suspicious. I couldn't let it go. One night, when she was asleep, I went through her phone again. I know it wasn't the right thing to do, but I felt like I was being driven crazy by this relentless feeling of uncertainty. And then I found it. She had been searching for an apartment. The date on the booking matched a weekend she had told me she'd be going on a camping trip with some nurse friends. My heart raced as I tried to piece it together. She wasn't camping. She was staying in an apartment that wasn't ours, with people she wasn't supposed to be with. My hands shook as I kept digging. It was then that I found an email from a hotel, thanking her for her recent stay. This was it. This was the confirmation I had dreaded, the evidence I needed but had hoped I would never find. The room wasn't for some girl's weekend. It wasn't for work. It was for her and someone else. I didn't know who, but the implication was clear. When I confronted her the next day, she finally confessed, sort of. She admitted to meeting an old friend, someone she hadn't seen since high school. They had reconnected, and she claimed that they had spent the night together, but that nothing happened. Nothing? They had supposedly spooned in the hotel room and slept. That's what she wanted me to believe. She was adamant about it, even crying and apologizing, saying she regretted it deeply and that she would cut off all contact with him. But something about her story didn't sit right with me. I've spent sleepless nights turning it over in my mind. What kind of grown adults meet up after all these years and spend the night together in a hotel room just spooning? Was I really supposed to believe that nothing happened? I wanted to believe her, but the details didn't add up. The secretive behavior, the apartment search, the reluctance to involve me in anything deeper, it all pointed to something more than what she was willing to admit. Since then, we've tried to move forward. She's been doing everything she can to show that she's sorry. She's more attentive now, more open with her phone, more present in the relationship. But no matter what she does, that seed of doubt has been planted deep in my mind. I can't look at her the same way. When she's at work or out with friends, I can't help but wonder if she's lying to me again, if there's more she's still hiding. I wonder if she's meeting him again, or someone else. I wonder if she ever really stopped. I keep telling myself that relationships go through rough patches, that trust can be rebuilt over time. But I also know that once trust is broken, it's hard, nearly impossible, to restore. I've replayed every conversation, every detail of the last few months over and over in my head. I've questioned my own sanity, wondering if I'm being overly paranoid or if my instincts are still right. It's like living in two realities at once. On the surface, everything seems to be improving. She's here with me, we talk, we laugh, we try to reconnect. But underneath that, there's a constant undercurrent of doubt, a quiet storm brewing just beneath the surface. Every time I see her, a part of me wonders if she's hiding something. Every time she touches me, I wonder if she touched him the same way. It's exhausting, this constant battle between wanting to believe her and knowing that I might never fully trust her again. There's no peace in it, no resolution. Just a lingering question that hangs in the air. Is she still lying? And if she is, what does that mean for us? Can we ever truly move on from this? Or is this the beginning of the end? Only time will tell, I suppose. But for now, I'm stuck in this limbo, trapped between the life I thought we had and the reality that's slowly unraveling before me.